I want you to picture a young boy growing up in a small town. He wasn't the smartest in his class, didn't win many trophies, and often got picked last for the team. But every time he failed, he got back up. Every time someone told him, "You can't," he quietly whispered, "Watch me." That boy's name? Michael Jordan. When he was cut from his high school basketball team, most people would have given up. But Jordan didn't. Why? Not because he was born great, but because of one simple truth, his mindset. Today, I want to explore that very idea. Mindset isn't part of the journey, it is the journey, and it determines how far you'll go, how deeply you'll love, and how boldly you'll live. Imagine for a moment that the world you live in, the reality you wake up to every morning, is not dictated by the external events that happen to you, but by the lens through which you view those events. It's not the circumstances themselves that shape your experience, it's how you interpret them. This interpretation, this mental framework you bring to every moment is what we call mindset. And mindset isn't just some vague idea, it is the foundation upon which every reality is built. Consider this: two people lose the same job. They walk away from the same experience, yet their lives diverge in ways that seem almost impossible to reconcile. One person feels devastated, defeated, swallowed by fear and doubt. The weight of failure feels crushing, and they begin to spiral, retreating into hopelessness. The other person, standing in the same shoes, sees a door opening. They choose to see an opportunity, a chance to create something new, a blank slate to paint their dreams on. That loss isn't the end, it's the beginning of a journey fueled by resilience and courage. Same event, two completely different realities. Why? Because of mindset. Mindset is not about denial or escapism. It doesn't pretend that challenges aren't real or that pain doesn't exist. Instead, mindset is about redefining the meaning of those challenges. It's about finding purpose in the darkest moments. Look at the story of Viktor Frankl, a man who endured the unthinkable horrors of a concentration camp during one of history's darkest chapters. The conditions he faced were beyond anyone's imagination. Yet amidst the suffering, Frankl discovered something profound. Life could still have meaning. It wasn't a belief born from comfort or privilege, but a choice made in the crucible of despair. He famously said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This statement is revolutionary because it places the power squarely in your hands. Even when everything seems lost, even when the external world offers no solace, you still have the ability to choose how you respond. That freedom, that choice, is where mindset lives. It's the spark that turns adversity into advantage, pain into purpose, and suffering into strength. When you grasp this truth, it changes everything. Suddenly, obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Failure isn't a verdict, it's feedback. The harshest circumstances aren't prisons, they're classrooms. Your mindset transforms reality, not by ignoring the truth, but by expanding it. It stretches your perception beyond the immediate pain or setback and invites you to see a bigger picture, a deeper meaning. Imagine the ripple effect of this shift. When you embrace a mindset that seeks growth, that refuses to be defined by hardship, your entire world begins to change. Your relationships, your career, your health, all are influenced by this inner perspective. You become a person who creates solutions instead of dwelling on problems. You become a leader of your own life story rather than a passenger swept along by circumstance. And this doesn't require some extraordinary gift or talent. It requires a decision, a daily decision to approach life not as something that happens to you, but something you actively engage with. To understand that your mind is a garden. What you choose to plant and nurture will determine what grows. Will you cultivate seeds of fear and doubt, or will you plant hope and resilience? The choice is yours. There's a magnetic power in mindset. It draws people to you, it opens doors, and it inspires action. When you approach life with a mindset of possibility, you begin to see opportunities where others see dead ends. You start conversations that spark collaboration. You create momentum that propels you forward, even when the path isn't clear. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to overcome every challenge, who rise after every fall, who make the impossible possible. What separates them from the rest is not luck or circumstance, but their mindset. They have learned to harness the power of their interpretation, to reframe setbacks as setups, and to view every moment as a chance to choose courage over comfort. Mindset also builds resilience. Life will inevitably throw curveballs and pain is unavoidable. But with the right mindset, pain becomes a teacher, failure becomes a mentor, and fear becomes a signal that you are pushing beyond your limits. You stop running from difficulty and start leaning into it, knowing that on the other side lies growth and transformation. This truth is deeply liberating. It means you are never a victim of your circumstances unless you decide to be. No external event has the power to imprison you unless you surrender your internal freedom. You become the author of your own story, capable of rewriting it whenever you choose. In your daily life, this might look like waking up with intention despite uncertainty, or choosing optimism even when the headlines scream otherwise. It might mean looking in the mirror and telling yourself that setbacks are temporary, and that your capacity to grow is unlimited. It might mean treating every challenge not as an enemy, but as an invitation to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. The impact of mindset extends beyond personal success. It shapes the culture around you. When you cultivate this way of thinking, you influence your family, your team, your community. You create a ripple effect that inspires others to believe in their own power to choose. Collective mindset can shift the trajectory of organizations, movements, and societies. It can turn despair into hope and paralysis into progress. Remember, mindset is not fixed. It is a muscle that grows stronger with practice. Every time you catch yourself falling into a negative story, you have an opportunity to reframe. Every time you face a choice, you have the chance to decide what meaning you assign to it. Over time, these choices compound into a powerful force that shapes not only your experience, but the legacy you leave behind. So, as you go forward, ask yourself, how am I interpreting this moment? What story am I telling myself? Am I choosing a mindset that limits me or one that frees me? Am I allowing my circumstances to define me, or am I defining my circumstances through the power of my attitude? Your mindset is more than just a perspective. It is your superpower. It is the key that unlocks the door between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. It is the light that guides you through the darkest tunnels and the compass that points you toward purpose. And no matter what the world throws your way, remember this. You have the last and greatest freedom to choose your attitude. In that choice lies your power to transform your reality and ultimately your life. Too often we trap ourselves in the idea that we must be perfect from the start, that we must already have the skills or the talent before we even try. That little voice inside us whispers, "I'm just not good at that," and it stops us in our tracks. But what if that phrase is more than just a reflection of our abilities? What if it reveals a mindset that limits us? It's not just about skill. It's about how we view our potential. When we say, "I'm just not good at that," we're choosing to see ourselves as fixed, as if our talents and intelligence are set in stone. This fixed mindset tells us to avoid challenges, to stick to what we know, and to fear failure because it threatens the fragile image we want to protect. But imagine flipping that narrative. What if instead of saying, "I'm not good at that," we said, "I can learn, I can grow, I can improve"? This is the essence of a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities are not fixed but can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. When we adopt this mindset, failure stops being a judgment on who we are and becomes a stepping stone toward who we can become. There's powerful research that reveals this truth. When children are praised for their intelligence, they become afraid to take risks because they want to protect the image of being smart. But when children are praised for their effort and their persistence, they become hungry for challenges. They understand that growth matters more than looking flawless. They learn to embrace struggle because they see it as part of the journey, not as a roadblock. Think about that for a moment. When you focus on growth instead of perfection, every mistake becomes an opportunity. Every setback becomes a lesson. It's like planting seeds in the soil. The seeds need the dirt, the rain, and even the storms to take root and grow strong. Without those conditions, nothing new ever blossoms. Take the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Her father had a simple but profound habit. Every night at the dinner table, he would ask her, "What did you fail at today?" And when she shared her failures, he would smile, because he understood something most of us forget. Failure is not the enemy of success, it's the soil in which success grows. That mindset shifted everything for Sarah. It gave her the courage to try, to fall, and to get back up again. And that courage is what built an empire. If we wait to be perfect before we act, we never start. If we fear failure, we never move forward. But when we choose growth, When we commit to learning, adapting, evolving, we unlock potential that we never imagined possible. We become resilient, we become unstoppable, and that is where true success lives. Not in flawless beginnings, but in the courage to grow despite imperfection. So today, I challenge you to stop asking yourself if you're good enough right now. Instead, ask yourself, how can I learn today? What can I try even if it scares me? What failure can I embrace because I know it's the very thing that will help me grow? Growth is messy, growth is uncomfortable, growth is the very thing that transforms dreams into reality. And that is a choice we all get to make. Think for a moment about the voice you hear inside your mind, that constant chatter, the words, the phrases, the tone. What is it saying to you right now? Is it lifting you up, or is it quietly dragging you down? This voice, your self-talk, is more than just background noise. It is the narrative that shapes your reality. It's the script that you follow every single day, whether you realize it or not. This inner dialogue is the most powerful conversation you'll ever have because it becomes the foundation of your beliefs, your attitudes, and ultimately your actions. It's the invisible director guiding your choices, your confidence, and your resilience. When an athlete steps onto the field, they don't just rely on their physical training. They harness the power of their mind. They visualize success, rehearsing victory in their mind's eye, creating a mental blueprint of what they want to achieve. This is no accident. This is intentional. It's the process of consciously scripting your life before it unfolds. The psychology behind this is simple but profound. What you tell yourself repeatedly rewires your brain, changing not only your thoughts, but your feelings and behaviors. If you tell yourself, I can't, I'm not enough, or this is too hard, those words create a mental barrier, a glass ceiling you can't see, but can't break through either. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy, quietly convincing you to stop trying, to settle for less, to shrink back from your potential. Now think about someone who mastered this art of internal scripting, a person who refused to let doubt dictate their story. Long before the world believed in him, he declared, I am the greatest. That wasn't boastful arrogance. It was a deliberate declaration of intention. It was a promise he made to himself every day, a daily act of belief that shaped his identity, his confidence, and his destiny. By choosing to speak with certainty and conviction, he rewired his mind to act with power and purpose, turning belief into reality. The truth is, you have the same power. Every moment offers a choice. Continue repeating the stories that limit you, or start writing new ones that elevate you. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, try saying, I'm learning. Instead of, I don't deserve this, say, I am growing. Instead of, I'll never make it, say, I'm becoming. These small shifts aren't just words, they are the seeds of transformation. Your mindset, your entire approach to life begins with the language you use internally. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for how you perceive challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and how you seize opportunities. When you change the script in your mind, you change the story of your life. And that change starts with one simple step, choosing your words with intention, compassion, and courage. So ask yourself again, what is your self-talk saying right now? Is it the voice of a champion, a learner, a person who is growing and becoming more every day? Or is it the voice of doubt and limitation? You hold the pen. You write the script. The life you want to live begins with the story you tell yourself today. Imagine this. You wake up every day determined to build a better life, fueled by a mindset ready for growth and success. You tell yourself, I'm going to make it happen. But then the voices around you start whispering doubt, fear, and negativity. Maybe it's a friend who constantly complains about how unfair the world is, a colleague who dismisses your ideas before you can finish them, or even family members who tell you to settle because this is just how things are. No matter how strong your mindset is, those voices seep in, slowly undermining your confidence and determination. It's like planting the most beautiful seeds in soil so poisoned they'll never sprout. It's not just a poetic idea, it's science. Our brains are wired to absorb and mirror the people we spend the most time with. We are biologically designed to sync with our environment, to feel what they feel, think how they think, and sometimes even act how they act. So when your environment is full of complaining, fear, and doubt, your brain starts to accept that as the norm. You don't just hear those negative messages, you begin to believe them. That's why the company you keep shapes more than just your social life. It shapes your identity and your destiny. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She didn't reach her extraordinary heights by staying in the same room with people who only told her what she wanted to hear. She sought out mentors, people who challenged her, who pushed her beyond her comfort zone. Those people didn't coddle her, they made her uncomfortable, and through that discomfort, she grew. She made a conscious choice to surround herself with voices that demanded more, that stretched her vision and raised her standard. This wasn't luck, it was a deliberate environment change that rewired her beliefs about what was possible. And here's the uncomfortable truth many avoid. Sometimes growth means outgrowing people. The very relationships that comforted you yesterday might be holding you back today. It's painful to acknowledge that not everyone in your life will be part of your future, but it's necessary. When you keep watering the toxic soil, you choke your own roots. The first step to growth is recognizing that it's okay and even essential to leave behind those who drain your energy and stunt your progress. Growth is rarely comfortable, but it's always worth it. This means choosing your environment like you choose the air you breathe, carefully and intentionally. Seek out spaces and communities that ignite your passion, challenge your thinking, and elevate your belief in yourself. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, not your past mistakes. Find those who celebrate your wins and push you to rise higher, even when you doubt yourself. When your environment feeds your fire, that fire grows into a blaze impossible to ignore. Your environment isn't just a backdrop, it's the soil from which your beliefs grow. If you want to change your life, you must first change what surrounds you, because no matter how strong your mindset is, the voices you hear every day have the power to either nourish your dreams or bury them deep beneath doubt. Choose wisely and watch how your world transforms. Purpose is the spark that sets everything in motion. It's the force behind every decision, every action, every moment of perseverance. When your why is clear and deeply felt, the path forward, the how, begins to reveal itself naturally. It's not about forcing solutions or pushing through obstacles blindly. It's about letting your purpose illuminate the way, guiding you through uncertainty with unwavering clarity. Purpose isn't something handed to you or neatly packaged in a guidebook. It's not a destination you arrive at by following someone else's blueprint. Purpose is alive. It burns inside each of us, waiting to be uncovered and stoked into a roaring fire. When that fire is burning bright, it fuels your mindset with meaning and direction. And this mindset, the way you see challenges, setbacks, and opportunities, is what ultimately shapes your reality. Without purpose, motivation becomes fragile. It flickers and fades with every disappointment or difficulty. But with purpose, motivation transforms into resilience. It becomes a steady, unbreakable force that keeps you moving forward when the world tries to pull you back. Purpose anchors you to something greater than yourself, something worth fighting for, something that transcends pain and fear. Think about Malala Yousafzai, a young girl who dared to go to school when the world around her told her she shouldn't. She was targeted simply for the act of learning. But fear did not define her. Instead, she chose to let her purpose rise above the violence. Her mission, to fight for every girl's right to education, became the compass that guided her through the darkest moments. She refused to be silenced. They thought the bullets would silence us, she said, but they failed. That mindset, forged by purpose, made her unshakable. This is the power of purpose. It transforms your mindset from something fragile into something resilient, from something reactive into something proactive. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and failures into lessons. When purpose drives you, fear no longer has the final say. Doubt becomes fuel for growth, not a reason to quit. Your purpose is the reason you get up on the toughest days. It's the light that refuses to dim when everything around you feels dark. It's the voice inside that whispers, "Keep going," when every other voice says, "Give up." It's what makes your mindset not just a way of thinking, but a way of being, strong, steadfast, and ready for whatever comes next. So, what's your purpose? What is that burning reason that gives your mindset meaning and direction? Find it, ignite it, let it drive you. Because when your why is strong enough, the how will always find its way. Your mindset will become unshakable, and nothing, not fear, not failure, not doubt, will be able to stand in your way. So what will you choose? Will you interpret your life through the lens of defeat or opportunity? Will you seek perfection or growth? Will your inner voice be your critic or your coach? Will you surround yourself with anchors or wings? And will you let purpose guide your path? Your mindset is the lens through which you see your life. And the beautiful part, you get to choose the lens. So choose boldly, choose growth, choose meaning. Because in the end, mindset isn't everything, it's the only thing.